You're tuned in to the Skirts Up Show with Samantha Mandel. Same truth, same wild ride, but keep your panties on. What's up, Skirts Up Squad? It's Samantha, and it's just me today. I don't know if you caught episode 1 of this season, but I did mention that some episodes will be with guests and some episodes will be with just me and you catching up on life and also talking about how certain episodes this season, how the guests really do make an impact on my life. And so you can maybe also reflect on how each guest shows up in your life after listening, because they're just each one is amazing. And there's a reason that they find their way onto the show. So I want to start off with just life catch up. It's been a while since it's just been me and you. In episode 1, I mentioned that Simon was in a car accident and we are still navigating that journey. At this point, he's got like a full-time job jumping between doctor's appointments and day to day just looks different. Still can't talk a whole lot more about it, but is what it is. Shortly after that episode, so a few weeks ago, I ended up in a car accident in the new car that we got after his. So we got like the same car, just, a new one. And before that car got its actual license plate, someone ran a stop sign into me, T-boned that car, totaled that car. So yeah, I've also been recovering from a car accident. Right now, like my neck is like really sore and I'm putting on this like topical muscle relaxer, which it helps, but there's still like a lot of soreness, but I'm here and we're all here. And you know what's funny? Simon ended up asking AI, like ChatGPT or something, like, what are the chances of totaling the same car 3 times within a 7-month window? And it was like 1 billion or like 1 in a billion or something was like the odds. So it's like, I wonder if we should like buy a lottery ticket at this point since like our odds are like in the crazy slim. But anywho, on a positive note, I got my hair done. If you're seeing the video or have seen any of the most recent social media post, my hair is very radiant. I needed a little like mood pick me up, and I was going in to get my hair done just like the usual red color, but I ended up choosing and walking out with purple and pinks, and it is gorgeous. I love it. It makes me feel so light and like just I don't know. It just makes me feel good. So thank you, Marky. I will tag him for his beautiful work. He's located in Decatur, Georgia. If you guys are interested in some vivids or just any like edgy cut, like he's got you. He's awesome. Um, and also I have a new family member. Somehow, I say somehow, but I mean, just kind of popped up online and I jumped on it. I have a baby pig. Yes, a baby pig. You heard that. Fortunately for my husband, it is living outside, so at least I didn't bring it inside. It's a baby pig. He's 5 weeks old right now. I ended up naming him Lenny. Well, he told me his name was Leonard, but I, said that I don't think I can call Leonard out all day, every day. So we're going with Lenny. And he is still pretty like skittish, screams when I go to pick him up. But each day he's getting more and more used to me. He's starting to come out and greet me with his tail wagging every morning. He's eating well. We did have like this big hiccup. So like, I think it was like the second or the third day that we had him. Originally, I was keeping him in this little dog crate. And I say little dog crate, but I mean, he had tons of room. I mean, he's small. And I was like, well, let me get him like a bigger space. And so I got him this like puppy playpen and I put him in that outside thinking that like, okay, he'll have more space. He still will be able to feel confined and safe. And I put him in that. And he did great. I checked on him like every hour for an entire day. Everything was fine. And then I did not check on him for an hour and 30 minutes. So just 30 minutes longer than I've been doing all day. I go out and he's not there. He's not in the pen. And I'm like, oh no, what do I do? Did a hawk get him? And I was really stressed, but I didn't have time to be stressed and look for him because like it was the first week of school and I had to go get the kids and I can't be late because they're still learning the routine and like how we're gonna find each other and everyone get in the car. So I'm just like, oh my God, I don't know where my baby pig is. Is he alive? Is he dead? I don't want to find him dead. Like that would be catastrophic. So I just zombie like go into the car, start going to pick up the kids, and I call my neighbor and I was like, "Uh, I don't know where my pig is." And so she was like, "No worries, I'll send the boys over, so her kids over, to look for the pig." And fortunately, they found him like really quickly. Apparently, little Lenny just went to go take a little nap under my front porch. Great. Called my husband, asked him to see if he was closer to home and could beat me home to like help the boys catch the pig. I was gone getting the kids. It took like 2 hours. It's a whole ordeal. And apparently, the neighbors and Simon were trying to catch Lenny, and he didn't wanna be caught. We live on 5 acres, and apparently he ran the full 5 acres twice of them chasing him, trying to get him. By the time I got home, he was back under the front porch, and so we were able to all just kinda close in on him slowly, and we were able to catch him rather quickly once I got home. Um no one was thrilled about the pig hunt. It took 8 people and 2 hours total trying to catch him. I am terrified of him getting loose again because no one wants to help me chase him again. I mean, I don't wanna have to hunt him down again. So hopefully, once his space is really ready, he won't get out again, but there's still that fear. So that was fun. Good times of learning how to be a pig owner. But we'll see. And you know me, we will have another random animal on I'm sure sometime soon. Mhm. Something that I wanted to talk about with you guys is a area in life that I found myself in recently. I would say very honestly that the last 2 years, like, I have been on a high of life. Like, I have enjoyed every aspect of it, the ups and the downs, the learning, the just who I discovered I am, and just I I love the life that I've been living. And recently, I have found myself in this big depressive funk. And when I was really looking at it and thinking about it and reflecting on it because it doesn't it's not who I am and who I've been, and I know that, and so I wanted to really sit there with it and try and figure out, when did this happen? Where did this happen? It got pretty bad, like, it got to the point where I didn't wanna get off the couch, and I was just spending days on the couch, like, wanting to be productive, but I would get my laptop out, and then just my whole brain would go blank, and so I'd just sit there all day. And then even low demand activities felt exhausting, like watching TV. Like I didn't want to watch TV. I didn't want the TV on. Like just the sound is exhausting. And so I was literally finding myself spending days just sitting on the couch and then like crying randomly, but I can't tell you why I'm crying. Like just a whole bunch of unusual things. Then it just kind of dawned on me that I don't even know when the last time I showered, and that is the wake up call for me because I shower all the time. I like to be clean. I like to be clean when I get into bed so that my bed feels clean. Like, I shower. I take baths. I like to be clean. And that's when I was like, whoa, buddy, something is not right here. Let's think about it. And I realized that getting into this pit of depression, it doesn't happen overnight. And so I kind of like wanted to share with you guys how I think it started and the progression of how we got here because it's human. One of the things that really was adding to the lack of desire to work and to show up and to be who I really am was I just kept thinking that my entire profession and mission was Sweet Soul. So my job is helping women feel whole by discovering their identity. Why in the world would anyone trust me, choose me to help them out of their dark hole when I'm in one of my own? And so that didn't help. But after reflecting back and thinking about it and really looking into it, I think that that is why people, women, choose to work with me and want to work with me, because it's not a contradiction. It's actually a shared human experience. We all experience the dark season from one time or another, and it doesn't mean that we're broken. It doesn't mean that I'm unqualified. It just means that I and you, if you are in this position too, we just took a wrong turn somewhere along the way. And it's normal. It's normal, especially when we hold high standards for ourselves and we have a lot of people to show up for and we have a lot of responsibilities. It's easy to little by little fall back into old routines and old habits that bring us down and don't really add to our life. So for me, when I was really looking at it, it came down to a few things. So it came down to just one night deciding that I was too tired to journal. And I just never picked up the pen again. So journaling for me is something that I would do at night before bed. And it would be just kind of talking about, if any thoughts, like reoccurring thoughts were popping up that day. It could be just a list of things that were going on in my head right before bed. And by getting it down, it wouldn't be what keeps me up at night. I would sleep better. And it's just like overall, just like a dump. And then like you feel a weight released and sleeping just feels easy. It comes easy. It felt good for me. But one night I just decided I was too tired. I wasn't going to journal. And I just never picked it up again for a while. I also remembered that I used to stretch uh, after I'd put my journal down, sometimes before, whatever. Anyways, in the evening, like before bed, I would stretch. And then when I wake up, I would stretch. And, it would just kind of get the kinks out of the day or, the kinks out from sleeping, the stiffness, and just like loosen the body up a little bit. It's just something that just made me feel relaxed and good and just ready to move on to the next thing. And, it's just that felt exhausting. So I didn't do it. And then I never started doing it again. And then it turned into abandoning my afternoon lunch walk in the woods with Linus, my dog. It just didn't feel productive enough. Like it wasn't worth going to do. I need to stay working, keep doing my projects and just keep moving, walking outside in the sun, which is something that is also energizing and gives you that, break that you really need to continue on your day, at least my day. It wasn't productive, so I stopped. The biggest thing, one of the most important things that I also realized is that while struggling with these feelings and these emotions as they continued to pile up and feel heavier and heavier and heavier, was that eventually I wasn't even sharing these feelings and these emotions and the heaviness with my husband because we have so many more important things going on that my complaining, my feelings, it's not important enough. We have other important things. So then I'm not writing about what I'm feeling, what's going on, and I'm not talking about what I'm feeling and what's going on. And so that has no outlet and nowhere to go besides staying in my body and in my. This episode is brought to you by Sweet Soul Wellness, an absolute mind makeover for the woman who is ready to reclaim her power. If you are tired of just coping with stress and you want that inner flame fueled back to life, you can do it in just one session. No endless talk therapy, just fast, permanent transformation. Because I'm a little biased and I want you to experience the shift for yourself, I am giving you a free, personalized audio recording to try before you commit. Hit the link in the show notes, claim your gift, and let them watch you rise. Mind. So here were my wrong steps. Once I sat with it and realized it, and made me go, ooh, we gotta get back on track. The things that I stopped doing are the things that really kick started my day or kick started my night, and they made me feel good, and it helped me continue on. And I need to get back on track. We don't want to shock our nervous system, so baby steps. And because I have, come to the realization that, yes, this is a human experience, we all experience this, I pride myself on being able to talk about this stuff with you guys and share it with you because it is something that we don't talk about and kind of normalize how this comes and goes and how we can work on it. I am baby stepping back into journaling, and I have decided to bring that to my Sweet Soul Wellness Instagram page. So I will be sharing little tidbits on why you should be journaling and the like actual benefits that a person gets by doing it. And I will also be sharing my own journal prompts. And sometimes I'll even share what I wrote for those journal prompts just so you can follow along those baby steps with me and maybe bring that into your daily routine and see how that helps you sleep and how that helps you get through the day. It'd be really cool to see us get into that together and see where it leads. You can follow along on this on Sweet Soul, my Instagram page, and we'll reflect together and get back on page together. Another reason why I wanted to have these one-on-one episodes with you guys is because so many of the guests that we're having on this season really had an impact on my life. And I had an episode where I reflected on the episode that I had with Renee Carbone Fleming and how her energy and boss babe like lit a fire under me and really helped me like get back hyper focused in my business was really empowering for me. And after these last two episodes with Lauren and Kori, I was reflecting on it. After each episode that I did with Lauren and with Kori, I left both of those conversations like, wow, this gave me something to think about, something to be curious about, something to like really put in some effort and see like how that applies to me or how it shows up to me. What these two episodes had in common was talking about cyclical living. So basically aligning your daily self-care and expectations with your internal rhythm. Um, what I what I found interesting is realizing how truly the woman experience is like living a full year of seasons each month. One of the things that I did after talking, particularly to Lauren, this is when I started like, really looking and like digging into things, trying to see connections. So after I did that recording with Lauren, I was looking back at my old journal entries and was noticing a monthly pattern of feeling like depressed feelings, exhaustion, feeling socially withdrawn. And I realized that they were happening at exactly the same, weekish time at the same month every month. And I was finding like little patterns, like my husband and I, we banter a lot. Like that's honestly, it could probably be considered a love language for us at this point. That's just how we are. But I was noticing that in these entries where I was talking about being more exhausted and socially withdrawn and just like feeling more depressed, like I was also including feeling like, does my husband really love me? It's just, it feels like he's a little mean. But then it like makes me laugh because like nothing changed, nothing was out of the ordinary. That's literally like we banter. That is how we talk to each other. And so it's like really funny to look back and be like, oh, there's a reason why I took it so personal. Like it's normal. That's just where the hormones are this year or this time of the month. And what I love about being able to notice that and picking up on that is it gives me a way to learn about myself, but also speak up for myself. I know that when I start feeling this way, I'm gonna take things ultra personally. Like when I am in this luteal phase, in my quote unquote winter phase. I take everything personally, and I'm able to tell Simon, like, hey, we're going to have to tone down that bantering because it actually is hurting my feelings right now. That way it keeps us on a healthy page, and it keeps me from spiraling into this nonsense of, you know, oh, he hates me. Everyone's out to get me, which, is the lie of the legal phase, at least for me. What I also started noticing when I was going through my pages was shortly after the I just don't wanna communicate with anyone, I just wanna be by myself, and, my feelings are hurt over this and that. I started to notice that you would see the writings progress into this, like, boost of random creative thoughts. And all of a sudden I'm like hyper focused on projects, like creating these projects on, oh my gosh, this is a genius plan for the month and I'm going to work on this, or oh, I'm going to start planning a documentary because this would be like a boost for this and for that, and oh, I'm going to write a book cuz that's a good idea. So let me start on that. Like the brewing phase, if you will, like, is my time. Like, my writing feels great. I feel like a genius. Like, why didn't I think of this? And I just want to plan and plan and be creative. You can see that in my writing, and that's like literally how I feel during those times. And then you get into the next phase, so like my personal summer, and that is my spontaneous social energy, the rare window where my introverted self actually wants to make plans and looks forward to social interactions. So my friends, you need to figure out when my summer is, because that is when I am most likely to say yes to whatever shenanigans you got going on. Because my friends will tell you, I am very quick to be like, I feel like going out. I'm not going to go out. But every once in a while, when y'all catch me in my summer, I will come out. I want to come out, and we're going to have a blast. But that's just something I have learned about myself. So now I know that, like, generally, if I'm going to make plans to go out with my friends, I should double check and see where I am in my feminine cycle to see if that's gonna be a good time, or is that gonna be one of the times where I'm beating myself up, like, "Why did I make these plans?" Like, I literally do not want to go out and talk to anyone. Um, Another thing that we talked about in these episodes is that even people like myself who are non-bleeders, they tend to follow the cycle of the moon. So the moon has 4 phases, we have 4 phases, and so typically non-bleeders will kinda match with the phases of the moon. And after talking to Lauren and Kori, I started going back in the journals. Yes, I realized, like, what I was going through, the feeling, the emotions, all of that. But then I also started looking up what was the moon phase of each of these, you know, areas of my writing, and I realized just how accurate and close it was, but there were a few discrepancies enough to make me wonder, "Oh, okay, am I actually on the moon cycle? Are these coincidence? Like, what where do I fall?" 'Cause I wanna figure this out and just kinda, like, see how it feels for me. In my own research, in my own searching, I discovered that there is a thing called the red moon and the white moon. And it doesn't change like the phases of the moon, obviously, but they have these two different terms to kind of explain. Guys, I don't have it in front of me, but I believe the moon cycle that like Lauren and Kori were sharing was that during the full moon is like your happy lit up time, like your summer, like your ovulation, like you're in that prime. But the red moon on the full moon is actually when you are in your bleeding cycle. And through looking and reading through what these things mean, I discovered that I followed the red moon. Now, the other thing that I kinda discovered is that I remember when I was on a bleeding cycle and I did bleed, I would bleed on the same day every month, meaning I had a 30-day cycle as opposed to like the more average 28-day. And so what I also realized is that because I am a 30-day cycle, that I my moon version will fluctuate like every 7 months. So right now I'm in the red moon, but like in 7 months I'll be following the white moon cycle. And just in like a, spiritual type way, it just means that like white moon versus red moon also has like different characteristics on like what your biggest reflection is on. I think this is where it gets kinda a little more woo-woo, but, like, it makes me feel like something extra to reflect on. So, like, the red moon is, like, your internal, like, power, like, your inner focus and, like, your like, what you have to offer, and I feel like that's so fitting because, I mean, what what have I been doing the last month, like, several months this year or, this year? I have created a business that is just built on love and, like, outpouring as much as I can into other people, and that is my superpower, and so learning each month how to build my superpower to better serve people and keeping that in mind, it gives me something to think on, gives me meaning and gives me fuel. And one of the things that I have started to feel drawn to, particularly like in my luteal, like leave me alone phase, is I started feeling drawn to shuffle my oracle deck and pull cards. So typically, when I was looking back at my writing, there would be like a main focus, like a main thing that would have me down. Like one month it was work related, my business, sweet soul related. It was what am I missing? I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like I'm not fully reaching the people who need me. What do I need to do? And so I pulled a card for what am I missing? And it was really cool because I remember I drew the opportunity card. And so I kept in mind that whole month that I need to be watching and paying attention and taking the opportunities. One one month, the topic that I found myself writing a lot about was feeling like really um, powerless and useless to what my husband's going through and what he's feeling and feeling like I don't know how to support him. So I pulled a card on what is it that he needs and how can I support him? And it was essentially shedding the skin. Like it was a card that literally meant shedding, like feeling the feelings and processing them and being able to cleanse that. And we spent the month working on that. And that's honestly kind of how I ended up here, back on the other side of that big depression slump that I was in. It gave me the let's really pay attention to what's going on here and let's shed that skin. And hello, I'm back. We're back and we are doing this together, Skirts Up Squad. So, yeah, I hope that this episode kinda speaks to how open and honest we are here. I love sharing that with you guys, and I really love when you guys share what these conversations spark in you and how they guide you. That's all I got for today. I'm really excited for you guys to meet our next guest. She is someone who had a big impact on this season. And, if we ever get into twin flames, I think she might be my twin flame. Did you like the episode that you heard today? Great. Share it with a friend and don't forget to rate and review.